Hi everybody, this is Doug from @TrampTraveler YouTube channel, and this is the beginning of video 16 of my shuttle bus build into a camper. I apologize ahead of time for this traffic noise. I'm out right next to a state highway under the shade trees where I'm building it, but hopefully bear with that for me. I got the plumbing all done, got the propane all done, including testing out the water in the 2-burner stove. And today I dug out the stuff for my diesel heater. I don't know if you folks know what a diesel heater is, but way back in the day, Volkswagen Beetles didn't have very good heaters. It used the heat off from the exhaust manifolds and just had a fan on the engine that blew the engine heat up towards the cab of the Beetles, and it was miserably inadequate. So they made a diesel or a gas heater that tapped right into the fuel tank, and it ran off from 12 volt or probably 6 volt at that time, I don't know, but the ones currently are 12 volt, and they still make gas operated ones, but they're terribly expensive. I'm talking maybe $1,000 for the heater. And but also they started making them for diesel, which the truckers use a lot, and they call them a parking heater, a cab heater. China stole their patent or stole their design, and there are several companies in China who are making these diesel heaters now, and they're super efficient. They just sip on the electric. They might run around 70 watts when it's running full bore, but they do use a lot more wattage when it's starting up because it has a glow plug that has to get hot in order to ignite the diesel fuel at first, and then after it gets going good, the glow plug shuts off. Excuse that. But they have a little electric pump that just gives a little tiny whiff of diesel fuel into a fine screen inside the burn chamber, which atomizes the diesel fuel to where it's easier to burn. And then there's a fan that blows through the heating chamber, burning chamber, to force that ignition to continue. Now there's 3 different heat ranges that you can buy of these things, which people say, no, they're all the same. And I don't know if they are or not, but there's 2 kW, and you'll have to convert this into BTUs yourself. I don't know what it is, but there's supposedly a 2 kW, then a 5 kW, and then an 8 kW. And the 8 kW is the biggest. I think the 2 kW is smaller, but I think the 5 and the 8 are both the same. That's what a lot of people are saying. They look the same, looks like the parts are interchangeable. So I don't know what the difference is. It really can't be any but anyway, then these heaters draw air from the outside, put it through the combustion chamber where the diesel fuel is burnt, and then it discharges back out to the outside of your vehicle or structure, whatever you use it on, because you can use these in garages, and some people use them in houses. Excuse me. However, there is no carbon monoxide danger because the air is drawn from the outside and discharged back out to the outside. So it's like a typical furnace. And then it also has the heat exchanger on the outside, which is just a series of aluminum fins. And there's a nice, fairly robust fan that draws air in one end of the heater and blows it out the other end. And I'll be showing you that in just a minute here. But that air is just reheating the air that's inside of your structure, your bus, your van, your semi cab, whatever. So it's really efficient, and geez, it just, I think you can go, I'd have to revisit the information, but I think you can get by on less than a gallon of fuel in a 24-hour period. That's cheap. If you figure the diesel is around 350, multiply that times 30 days, what is that? That's $100 a month to heat at full bore, 24/7. That's really great, you know. Most places they don't use these, say when you're driving or during the day. Say if you're going down to Arizona like I'd like to do, it warms up during the day, but it gets quite cold, sometimes down to 40s, 30s at night, overnight. So you might want some heat. And that's during the winter. During the summer, it's just terrible hot down there. You don't even want to mess around with southern Arizona during the summer. Anyway, I'm going to show you what this looks like and explain it just a little bit. I've got a couple of things that I purchased separately from the heater, and the discharge comes out of the bottom of the heater for the exhaust. And so what I want to do is I want to elbow that so the heater will be above this. It'll exhaust out here and go out the back wall of my shuttle bus. And I'll show you where I intend to do that. It'll go out the back wall, and then there's I don't know if you'd call it extrusion, but it's a device that you put through your wall, and you can see it's double wall, so the heat from the inside doesn't get to the outside of the penetration, of where it's penetrating through your wall. And then the inside of it, or the tail end of it, fits inside of your elbow. Now, these heaters come with flexible tubing and a muffler and a fiber intake hose. I'm not going to get my air from the outside of the vehicle. Don't need to. As a matter of fact, one of the problems that campers have is humidity inside of their vehicle. And that comes from your body putting out moisture, breathing, and if you've got any kind of aluminum structure or windows, sorry about the noise, windows, doors, anything that has a direct, can feel where the cold air from outside can penetrate directly through, you're going to get condensation. Condensation's already going to be there, but it's going to collect there and drip down on everything. And I've got a cargo trailer camper that's got the aluminum frame up around the door and around the windows, and those things are sopping wet and dripping down on the floor all night long. That's kind of a miserable situation, because you can rot out your wood or whatever. However, if you draw your burning chamber air from inside of your vehicle, mine's a shuttle bus, it'll take that air that you're breathing and your body is sweating, and it'll put it through the burn chamber along with the diesel fuel and blow that outdoors. So it gets rid of some of the moisture. I'm not sure if it's going to get rid of all of it, but it's going to get rid of a lot of your moisture condensation inside your vehicle, which to me is perfect, And, they say, oh, you shouldn't do that because you're creating a vacuum. Well, this is a shuttle bus. It's got air leaks everywhere. And so does just about every vehicle you're going to use for camping. So you don't need to worry about a vacuum where you might be sucking the exhaust fumes back inside. I don't know if you can hear it, but my little puppy dog, he's down here whining. He wants some attention. So while I switch his camera over to show you my heater, I'm going to go give him a little bit of attention. I'll be right back. Okay, what you see here is the bottom of the heater. And see on this end here it says, come on, focus, it says exhaust pipe. So this one here is the exhaust pipe. This one here is the intake. And this little black cap here, I don't know if you can see it, right in the center there. That's where the fuel is pushed in there. And then there's a rubber grommet here for sealing wherever you like, if you're going through a floor or a wall. Now you can actually, like I say, this is the bottom view of it. You can actually turn these on their side. And I don't know if it's this way or the other way, but the glow plug is up in one of the corners. It's not directly in the top center, it's in one of the corners. So if the glow plug is up here, you can actually have it so the glow plug is in this position, up here in this position, and these can go directly out of the wall. I didn't really want to do that because then my 4 bolts here would be a little more difficult to access, for changing this out or doing repairs. So I'm going to still mount this in the vertical position like this is the bottom, so that's going to be on the bottom. And my exhaust, because the air flows through here, the exhaust comes out here. They give you some nice big flexible pipe. It's a fiber pipe that's bendable, and it's kind of like an accordion. You can stretch it out, you can bend it around, and I'm going to have that blow this way, coming right out into my bedroom area, or out into well, let me just show you. Up here is where it's going to be, above the window and below the air conditioner. And it's going to be just a little bit left of center, because right directly above the center of this, there's a brake light. So I'm thinking there might be some wiring coming straight down, and then it appears to go off over this way here. So I'm thinking the wiring is going to go over here for the lights. There's also a couple other lights up there too, but I'm going to try to go roughly right here with it, and that'll still allow my exhaust, the heat, to blow out this way towards the living area. And I can point it down towards the bed area if I want to. Anyway, I've got a couple of angle brackets. Hang on a second, I'll see if I can dig those out. Well, I kind of misplaced them somewhere. I don't know where they're at. I'll have to go see if I can dig them out later. But a couple of L-shaped brackets, which will go up here and come down and then out. Over here also, down and out. And then the heater will set right above those. And they're good and heavy duty, real thick steel. Because you don't want to be going down the road and having this thing bobbing up and down, coming loose from the exhaust. Okay, so like I say, the combustion air goes in here, and it draws it in itself, and it blows the exhaust back out of here, goes into the elbow, and out through here to the outside. The heated air, or the cold air from inside of the vehicle or your structure, will come in here, pass over aluminum fins up in here that have been heated by that combustion, and blow out through the far end here, which is basically wide open. You hook a big hose up to that. This end has a kind of a mesh, which will keep the bigger stuff out, little fingers and stuff, because there's a fan just inside of there. And to take this apart, you just unscrew this, and you can pull this top cap off. You see, there's the top of the cap. And if you look at this, you can put it on pause and see if I can get down there. My camera thing is right in the way. It shows you, I think, towards the bottom, it says 1 to 8 kW. And I believe the 8 kW is 17,000 BTU. Here's my puppy dog. He came to visit us. He's stone deaf. And he's been chewing on himself, so he's got the cone of shame. He's got a bed over here that he likes sleeping in, but right now he's kind of restless. So let's see. Hang on just a second here. Let me think of what I got to talk about next. All right, now this is a roll of, I think it's Kevlar, but it's a wrap for the exhaust. And I really probably won't even need that, but it came from the guy I bought this heater from. I've got a 28-gallon diesel fuel tank that I've talked about in previous videos. And let me put you up on the stand. A 28-gallon diesel fuel tank that's partially underneath the bed on the driver's side of the vehicle. And that's got a fill nozzle or fill cap right above the gas cap of the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus runs on gas, but this heater's going to run on diesel. So I put them right one above each other, so when I'm at a gas pump, I can fill the gas and then just grab the other nozzle and fill the diesel heater. And I'm also going to have a gauge on that. There was previously a gauge on a tank that wasn't working, so I've got to buy a new one. They're about $60. And I'm going to have that gauge so I can swing it around so that you can see it from inside the living area here, but also swing it around so that I can see it from the outside through the window, so I know when I'm getting close to full on the tank, so I can slow things down. All the trucks going by at once. There's traffic lights both ways, and so when the traffic lets through there, they all come barreling through here all at once. Okay, just outside of the tank, there's a drop tube that goes down inside the tank, and then a little thin hose. I mean, it's extremely thin, almost so thin that a bubble can't pass through it. But then it goes through just a wire mesh filter, which is very small, fine mesh. It's kind of like what you have on your lawnmowers. Then it goes a little further to a little electric pump, which has just got a little piston. Hang on, a dog hacking. It's got a little tiny piston in there that just goes click, click, click. And depending on how hot you've got it's business day, you know, so of course you can get all the trucks going through. The pump, depending on what you get your temperature set at, the higher you got the temperature set, the faster it's going to click. And it just gives a minute amount of fuel under pretty good pressure, because then it goes, the tube goes up to the bottom of this heater where I showed you that little cap. It's just capped off to keep it from getting any dirt in it. In through an orifice, which then sprays into the mesh. A little tiny screen in there is really fine mesh, and it atomizes that so they can burn easier. What else? Okay, so after I find those shelf brackets, heavy duty shelf brackets, I've got this comes with a plate, which I'll show you where that goes. There's a plate that goes on this 4-bolt thing, and it's got 4 holes in it for the corners to bolt it down to a floor or to a wall, whatever you choose to go through. But I'm going to try to put my angle brackets or my shelf brackets to match up with that. And I'll probably have to drill some different holes through the shelf brackets because, you know, there's no way they're going to match up. But I'd like to keep my truck noise. I'd like to keep my brackets, my shelf brackets, as close to the center of this as possible. If I have to fabricate a metal plate, so be it. So I guess that's all I've got for you today. I got to dig up the rest of this stuff here and bring it in. And it's Monday, 9/29. So it's the next to the last day. Tomorrow's the last day of September. So I'd like you to subscribe, to like, and to ring the bell and push the white bell to turn it black, which will get you all of the notification of the videos as I put them out. I just put one out yesterday, so I'd like you to go watch that one too. It went through the struggles I had to get this water functioning properly, and I've got a nice little kitchen sink here and a nice 2-burner stove right there. Try to do this around backwards. Got a refrigerator, which is going to be right there, and then up here in the between the refrigerator and this counter is going to be my recliner, which will, foot of it will go right out into this handicap lift area. Okay, so I've got to get going here. Doggy's got to go outdoors, take a crap. Anyway, like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and leave some comments too. And we'll catch you later. Hey, I'm back, and today is September 30th, last day of September, and I never did find those other shelf brackets, so I just went and bought 2 more of the bigger ones, which is probably better anyway because they're a lot heavier duty. Anyway, these are 8x8 brackets, and my new improved idea, instead of using those elbows that I had here, these, I'm going to actually turn this heater on its side like I talked about yesterday, with the glow plug in the top up here, and it's about here. Anyway, still have the extrusion that's going to be going through the wall, the back wall. And right now I've just got a hose clamp on there. I don't know if you can see that. Hose clamp on there to hold the 2 pieces together. I had to order a coupling, what I call a coupling, they call it a connector, exhaust connector, from Amazon, and it's either coming in today or tomorrow. I forgot to look it up before I got on here. Anyway, got these 2 angle brackets here, which they're partially fastened to the heater, and got that plate that belongs there anyway. So I can show you that. Okay, and I've got to drill a couple more holes down here because these holes don't match up perfectly. That's okay, it's easy sheet metal. I'm not going to drill it through the bracket, I'm going to drill it through the sheet metal. And these brackets, this one here and this one back here, those are going to be the ones that are mounted up on the wall. The reason I couldn't go with the elbow idea was because if I had that on here, hang on a second, if I had that on there and that extrusion, it was and this would be the top over here, that would make it almost 9 inches from the top of the heater to the extrusion, and I don't have that much room up there. I've only got 8 inches between the air conditioner and the window frame, so I couldn't do that. This way, the distance from the outside wall to this heater with a coupling on it, or a connector on it, will determine how far this sticks out from the wall, which doesn't matter how far out it is, but depending on how far out it is from the wall, because this will be bolted to the wall, I'll just adjust this in or out to that point. This isn't square right now because I've got a stack of boards underneath there, and it's, you can see it's not tilted square yet. But then these, both of these over here, will be cut off. so that they set on top of this. And then I'll attach these together with some very strong beam clamps. Think of a C-clamp. Only these are really tough. They're 3/8 bolt and a clamp with enormous force. And that will keep this from this heater from sliding out. That way it's infinitely adjustable as far as where that heater is towards the wall. So what I really would have to do first is determine where these brackets will go as far as up and down, and then where this heater will go on that into where I drill the hole for that extrusion. I'm calling it extrusion, but I don't know that's the right word for it. It's a wall penetration for the heater, and that will determine how long these can be when I set the whole kit and caboodle onto this, and then tighten those things down. And the nice thing about this is all I'll have to do to service this baby and take it off is loosen up the two hose clamps that hold that coupling on there, and then untighten these two beam clamps on here, and I'll be able to pull that whole heater totally away from the wall and bring it down to where I can work on it. I have two of these heaters because the only time they break down is in the winter when they're trying to be run, and you know, you don't want to be without heat, so you know they don't break down in the summer because you're not using them. So I've got a second one that I can just slide into place within minutes of the other one breaking down. And it has a plug which goes to the control, and from the control it goes down to the pump. So yeah, that's this one over here is not in place because I got a block of wood there in the way that I can't shove it underneath there. But this is coming together. Those other parts should be here tomorrow. I got just a short coupling that will allow this extrusion to butt right up against that, and then I also bought a 5-inch long one, and that in case I decide that I want to have this a lot further away from the wall. I'm also thinking that if there's enough room, I could put this, hang on, let me get my hand here. I could put one of these on here to get the intake away from the exhaust, although I'm going to be sealing that exhaust up with retort cement so that even if there's little cracks around the coupler, it can't leak any kind of fumes. I probably won't be able to use that elbow though there, it's just too big, but I've got the fiber elbow that the manufacturer of this provides, and I think I can bend that in a tighter bend to get it away. And you know, that might be a good idea anyway, because I can make that, you know, be 2-3 feet away from where this penetrates through the wall. We'll see. Yeah, it's about $35 worth of brackets there, but it's totally worth it. And it's going to be a tough, strong way to do this. It'd be close to the wall so that it's not liable to bounce around too much. And these babies, they're strong. It's not going to bounce. And what I'll probably do is, where I've got this wood under here, I will probably build something under there that the heater can set on with a cushion, so that it's not, you know, being harshly banged against, you know, some blocks of wood or whatever. That'll come after I get it done. I'll get it all put up there and set and everything, and then I'll just measure the distance and wedge a piece of probably wood in there and then screw up through it, up through the bracket into the wood. We'll see. This cord comes out of here perfectly. That'll come right on down to the driver's side of the shuttle bus to where the control will be and where the power will be. So let me see if I can get those other parts here. I might continue with this construction and even show you that in this video. These brackets that go up and can be bolted all the way through the wall. Won't be a problem here, but the wall is basically hollow, so I'll probably put some shims in between, and then the screws will come from the outside of the wall with some good strong washers on there. They're called fender washers, and with stainless steel bolts come through the wall and through this, so that that's held good and strong, because all this is here is, it's pretty thick fiberglass, and then outside is even thicker fiberglass, but it's like inch and a half, 2 inches thick in between there, or two inches of gap, and then there's about half to 3/4 of that is a layer of spray foam insulation that's adhered to the outer wall, and so I'm assuming that I know it's underneath the floor, and I know it's above here too in the ceiling. So I got some pretty good insulation all the way around in this, but I got a lot of windows here, and a lot of windows on, more windows on the other side. So, but let me get those other parts in here, and I'll start taking some measurements to see where everything's got to come together, and do a step-by-step of putting that in. And I might just show you the end result, because I've already got about a 25-minute video going here. So hang on and we'll be right back. Well, I put this together. This is Wednesday morning, the 1st of October, the next day, and I found a way that I can be able to mount this without cutting off this bracket here, by just turning them around and have them go underneath there, which also gives it more balance for where it's going to set. And I can still put the clamps under here. This way I can do 4 of them, 2 on each side, and that's actually 100% better too. But I do have a little bit of a problem depending on how thick that wall is, because the wall will be through here, and it's a two-sided wall there with insulation in between. But my problem is that the exhaust port, excuse me here a second, the exhaust port is really close to this bracket here, and if I have to pull this bracket this way too much, it's going to hit this larger diameter, and it's already touching. But if that happens, then I'm going to have to hog out some of this bracket to clear that, which is really not a problem. It's just extra work. And again, this is only held together right now with a hose clamp. My other coupling, or what they call a connector, won't be here until tomorrow, which is Thursday. And so what I'm going to do is end this video right now, and in the next video I'll show you how it's assembled up there, excuse the noise, above the window and below the air conditioner. And I might even get into piping it up. I don't have any diesel fuel right now to actually run a test on it. I'd have to bring some batteries out here, which I can do, but I don't know that it's necessary, other than to show you that it does run. But I'd have to hook up all of the controls and route the wiring and the hoses, stuff like that. which is going to be done, but I just wanted to get this mounted. And this video is already over 30 minutes long, so I kind of want to get this one out so that you can see this. And if you're interested in actually how these things are installed, you can watch the next video too. But that next video will probably include a lot more other than just the installation of this heater. So be watching for that. This one's probably going to come out Saturday, which is what, the 4th, roughly around there. Anyway, we'll catch you in the next video, but I'd like you to like, subscribe, ring the bell, turn the bell black, and send me some comments if you've got any on this situation. I'd love to hear from you, and I definitely will respond. So we'll catch you in the next video.